Hi friends, welcome back to this extra special bonus episode of the Goose and Ghost Knitting Podcast. My name is Ashley. I am the maker and designer of Goose and Ghost Knits. You can find me on Instagram as Goose and Ghost Knits and on Ravelry as Goose and Ghost. And today we don't have a normal podcast episode. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 dream knits. And I was kind of thinking about this last week while I was finishing up working on something that has been a dream knit of mine for a really long time, my Bindweed cardigan by Ksenia Nadion, who is Life is Cozy. And I was like, okay, so I finished this dream knit. What's next? And so I started writing down projects that I would consider dream knit. Something that seems like, oh, maybe one day I'll knit this special project. And I ended up with a list of more than just one or two things. I was like, okay, well, I should share some of these. So I figured, let's share them with you. Maybe I can inspire you. Maybe one of these will end up on your queue. Maybe these will end up on as a dream knit for you. Maybe you've worked on one of these. If you have, please leave a comment down below and tell me what your experience was working on these. I would love to hear it, and I hope that some of these projects inspires you. So let's get started. I'm going to move the camera right here so that I can pop up a picture of the pattern that I am going to be talking about on the side here, and still be visible, still be present with you. And I've got my phone here with my notes on all of the patterns, and that way I can look up all of the patterns as well as we're talking about them. So let's get started. And this is not in any particular order. This is just as I was writing them down, as I was realizing what they were. This does not mean that the last piece that I talk about is the last piece that I want to work on. No, this is just as I was finding them in my favorites and in my queue on Ravelry. So, shall we get started? So first knit on the Dream Knits list is going to be the Halu by Caitlin Hunter. And I'm obsessed. So first, we'll get some details about it. All of the garments that I'm going to mention today are size inclusive, so they will be up to, at minimum, a 60-inch bust. And that is very important for me. I only knit garments that are size inclusive, at minimum to 60 inches. We need to be more inclusive in this community. It's important that everyone should have the ability to knit something. So everything I'm talking about will be size inclusive. Let's talk about the details of the Halu. It is designed by Caitlin Hunter, of course, as I just said. She recommends using a fingering and mohair. In this case, the Cozy Posy Yarn Co. Fluff and Posh MCN fingering. It is at a DK weight gauge then. And it has a finished bust circumference of 33 inches to 68.75 inches, which is fabulous. That is fantastic. So it's beautiful. This is from the second that I saw the sweater. Every single time that I have seen it since, on every single person that has worn it in every color combination under the sun, I've just gone, wow, that looks so good. That looks so good on you. And I'm just so excited every single time I see this pattern. I love it. It has a deep V-neck, not quite off the shoulder, but it is very wide, which is something that Caitlin Hunter developed with, I think it's called the Easy V. That one doesn't quite appeal to me as much, but the Halu is something that very much appeals to me. It's got that deep, wide V-neck and then a section of lace and baubles, which then reappear on right before the cuff on the sleeve. I think it's so cute. It is something that I will have to wear a tank top underneath to not have, you know, the little undergarments show through that lace section. But sometimes it's worth it. It is what it is, and it'll be worth it. It is supposed to be very oversized, so the tank top will probably just make it a little bit more comfortable in general. And this is actually the only project on this list, the only project on this list that I have the yarn for already. And this is what I will be going with. It's upside down. This is Knit Picks Squish DK in the colorway Allspice, and it's actually very similar to the colorway that Caitlin uses in her original sample. And when I was trying to decide what yarn I wanted to knit this with, I kept looking through project pages and the hashtag on Instagram, and I was just like, what do I want? I can't decide. But I kept coming back to the original sample that Caitlin had made, and I was just like, I love that color so much. I really, really like, I mean, I dye my hair subtly copper. I'm wearing orange blush right now, orange lipstick. I love orange. I think it's a beautiful color, and I love this spiced deep orange color. I'm really excited about this. And I did decide to go with a DK weight instead of a fingering and DK, just because I thought it would make it a little bit more comfortable for me. I do sometimes have some issues with fingering and mohair. The mohair can get a little bit, not quite scratchy, but like pokey. So this was something that I just wanted just all in one. So that is where I decided to go for that one. I'm probably going to cast this on this fall so that I can have it for, or like late summer, so I can have it for the fall this year. Because how beautiful will this color be with changing leaves? Yes, of course. And this project is also one that is on my Make 9 for 2023. I'm not really like putting much stock into that though, because I've done a horrible job at keeping up with it, so whatever. Not that big of a deal. But again, this is the Halu by Caitlin Hunter. Next up, we have got the Sheep Camp sweater by Jennifer Berg, who is a native knitter on Instagram. And this is another project, I have a feeling I'm going to keep saying this, where just every time I see somebody wear it, I'm like, that looks so good on you. Yes. And I want to look so good in this. Yes. So I'll be making it at some point. Details on the sweater. It is a DK weight colorwork sweater, colorwork yoke, finished bust size of 36 inches to 70.5 inches. How fabulous is that? In her original sample, she uses native fibers, Arctic DK, and it is a little bit cropped and goes to a 3/4 sleeve. In mine, I think I'm going to keep that 3/4 sleeve, but I'm just going to lengthen it just a little bit. Probably not to be a full crop. I do have a very long torso, so I'm not sure if I want to do like something that looks like a crop or something that looks like a full-length sweater. Have yet to be determined. I also have yet to be determined what even color palette I want to go for this. I see so many people make this in spin cycle yarns, and it always looks so good. But I'm not sure if I want the color change or if I want some solids. I did see somebody earlier when I was scrolling through the project pages who did a cream main color, and then the color work was done in it was actually like a light brown, not even like a light brown, it was like my yogurt stained project bag here. It was like this color brown, but it ended up looking like maroon. I was like, oh, that looks really good. I really like that combination. So maroon and cream might be a good way to go. I don't know, I just think it's really cute. The color work looks, so in the description it says the motif on the sweater has arrows that draw inward like a deep inhale and that at the same time pull outward like a long, slow exhale. And I love that sentiment because we really need, I really need to like just often. And the other reason why I really like it is that the arrows also remind me a lot of pine trees, of evergreen trees, and as a girly who lives in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, I love me some evergreen. So maybe we go with a green. That would be cute. I don't know. If you have suggestions for me, drop them down below. If you have suggestions for colors on any of these or anything that you get inspired by, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. All right, next up, we have another one that the second I saw it, I was like, ah! We're gonna continue with it. This is the Eclair Raglan by Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. And doesn't this just look like the comfiest, squishiest, cuddle up in kind of sweater that you can just lounge around in for days and days and days? Absolutely. So this is one that I really wanted to cast on the second that it was released. I didn't want to buy the yarn for it at that time though, so I'm still like waiting to make a yarn purchase to order it, but I know what yarn I want to use and we'll get to that in a second. So the details on this is an Aran weight sweater, so it's going to be nice and chunky and cozy. She suggests using Filcolana Peruvian, and its finished bust sizes is 33 inches to 69.5 inches. So we're just keep hitting the beautiful wide range here. I think it's so cute and cozy. I love the baubles, so I will absolutely be making the version with the baubles. If you're team anti-bauble, then she has a version without the baubles as well. The yarn that I want to use for this is Knit Picks City Tweed. Can you imagine that with all like the tweedy little chunks? Ugh. I can't remember the colorway right now. Here it is. Knit Pick City Tweed Heavy Worsted Aran, so on gauge, in the color Blue Blood. In this beautiful, like, deep maroon color. Perfect. With the tweedy little bits. Ah, yes. So I really want that for next winter, just to have like that cozy moment out in the snow. Love it. And like it just continuously looks so cute. And I love a good cozy up, cuddle up sweater. It just looks like a fantastic, comfy, cozy day. And that's all I want in life, is a nice little cozy day. So we'll be knitting that. All right, next up we have my first non-garment. This is another pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and it's a shawl. It is called the Wellerman. And this is something that has come and gone out of my field of vision for a really long time. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, look at how cool that looks. And then I immediately forget about it. So I feel like I need to make note of it somewhere so I can be like, yes, I remember how cool it looks. So this is in an Aran weight yarn. She recommends either Cloud-Born Fibers Highland Sport, I'm assuming held double, or Hudson and Westcote Forge. And it has 2 different sizes. So the large width is 96 inches wide and 30 inches long. And the medium is 74 inches wide and 19 inches long. So it's a big shawl. I want to make the large size because I always want a shawl that I can just like wrap up like a blanket. Who doesn't? So yeah, it's just a really nice textured shawl that has some cables and some slip stitches, I think. I think it's so cute, and it just looks like a good, comfortable piece to wrap up in. And I'd love to make it. I'd love to have it in my wardrobe. I actually almost ended up making it last winter when I was having problems with my my Christmas sweater. I couldn't get gauge, and I was like, if I don't get gauge on this next swatch, then I'm just gonna cast on the Wellerman shawl because it doesn't matter what my gauge is on a shawl. Some people tell you otherwise. That is my personal opinion. Whatever gauge you're comfortable with is the gauge that a shawl will be knit in, for myself personally. If you like the fabric, then that's what it will be. So I almost cast it on in the yarn that I had for my Christmas sweater, which was this combination right here, which is Wool of the Andes worsted in Merlot Heather and Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Claret. Almost cast it on with these 2. Ended up getting gauge for my Christmas sweater though, so I didn't cast it on, but I still really want to. And maybe I do it in that warm color palette still. But I'm also kind of feeling like a dirty, dusty green would be a really beautiful colorway for it. Yeah, I just think it looks like a good throw over everything shawl. And I'd love it. Love to have it in my wardrobe. Alright, next up we have Zorya. And I am so sorry for this last name pronunciation, y'all. By Marisa Kolaczek. What can I say? It's beautiful. It can be knit as either a pullover, as a sweater, or as a cardigan. And I mean, you're going to start noticing a lot of similarities in the sweaters that I pull up. I have a style and I really like what I like, but it has this lace and bobble motif down the sides, and it's really elegant looking while still being natural and easy to wear. So the specs on this, it is another Aran weight garment. She recommends Knitting for Olive heavy merino, and the sizes start at a 44 inch and go up to 64 3/4 inch, and it's so cute. The problem with this, while this is a dream knit, this is probably the definition of a dream knit for me because it is a dream for me. It's probably not one that I'm ever going to be able to cast on. And the reason for that is that it's almost entirely twisted stitches, which look fantastic. They look so good, but they hurt my wrists so bad. So as much as I truly, truly, deeply love this sweater and what it looks like, I don't think that I will actually be able to make it. Which is a shame because I would wear the heck out of it. And I think it's so cute. So it's on my list here. not because it's attainable, but because it is a dream knit. And maybe one of you will be able to find inspiration from this and be able to make it, but I love it. And if someday my wrists decide to cooperate with my hopes and dreams, then absolutely I will cast it on in a heartbeat, but I just don't see it happening, which is so sad. I actually own this pattern. Marzena was doing a charity thing where a bunch of her patterns, all of her patterns, if you bought them in a time frame, the proceeds were going to Ukraine relief. And so I bought a couple of her patterns at that time, and that was one of them. So this is living in my library without any use. So sad. But again, the Zoria is absolutely beautiful. I think it's absolutely stunning. So it is what it is. Alright, next up, we're jumping back into cables and baubles. What can I say? Apparently, I like what I like. So this is the Bobbie Bomber by Joan Ho. And she's recommending a bulky weight yarn. And she recommends We Are Knitters the Petite Wool. And the bust circumference is 41 inches to 77 inches. Fabulous. But it is supposed to be very oversized. This is a cardigan. And it's just so cute. I would love to make this in like a mustard yellow, like this kind of color. This is Barocco Ultra Wool DK in the color 8329 Butternut. So this is a DK weight yarn, so I won't be able to use it unless I hold it double or triple, I can't remember, to make DK or to make bulky. But I would love a color like that for the Bobbie Bomber. I think it's adorable. She has a matching hat to it too that has that same cables and baubles that you can see her wearing in her sample photo. But it just looks like fall, especially if I do it in that mustardy yellow color. I love it. I can imagine myself wearing it with like jeans or like a bodycon dress. Just throw it over. It just creates a little bit of extra. So cute. And it's always so fun looking for buttons for things. Like, I don't knit a whole lot of cardigans. I've knit 3 cardigans. This is my 3rd cardigan. But the way that this one is like buttoned up in the pictures, it makes it feel more like a sweater than a cardigan, where it can absolutely still be a cardigan. Just leave the buttons off and let it hang loose. But it just feels a little bit more like complete, I guess. Does that make sense? But it's so cute. I really like it. And those are huge baubles. Like, I want to knit this just so I can find out how she made those baubles so freaking big. They look great. Alright, next up we have the Kuutar by Sari Nordlund. And this is another Lacy Yoke DK weight sweater. So she does recommend lace and fingering held together for a DK weight gauge. I don't think that I'm going to be able to pronounce the suggested yarns that she uses. They are in Finnish. And I don't want to butcher them so bad. I will put them right here. But lace and fingering weight. Excuse me. Alright, I don't remember if I got to the bust information before I paused. or before I was so rudely interrupted by the house phone. Who has a house phone these days? It's actually the phone for my fiance's business. Of course, we keep in the apartment. That makes sense, right? But the finished bust circumference is 32 inches to 63.5 inches. And it is, the only like problem that I'm seeing with this is the needle size recommended is US 2.5 and US 3. That's a 3mm and a 3.25mm. That is such a tight gauge with a DK weight yarn. So I didn't notice that until I was looking through it right now, but whew, my fingers would be a little bit annoyed with me, a little bit annoyed. So, but it is a really, really beautiful lace pattern on the yoke and on right before the cuff as well, actually incorporated into the cuff. I just think it looks very elegant. I can imagine it in like a deep maroon, a pale like minty green, or I keep going back to all my comfort colors, a bright, bold mustard yellow or like an ochre color. Let's see, like, what do some of the people in the project pages have? We have a mossy green, a mauve-y dusty color, an icy blue. Ooh, this person made it into a dress. How pretty. So the first couple projects aren't any colors that appeal to me, but I am worried about that very tight gauge. That might be a little bit too much, but it is so stunning that I still think I would like to make it despite that gauge. And I would size up my needles regardless because I am a tighter knitter. So it wouldn't be as much of a concern because I probably knitted out of US 4. I don't know. But that is a very tight gauge. I'm very surprised by that. That's usually what I see with like a fingering weight sweater is a 2 and a 3. I don't think I've knit a DK weight sweater with that type of gauge before. If you have, please let me know down below. I would love to know. All right, next up we have, we're breaking my vibe. Not really. We're moving away from the lace and cables and baubles for a minute because we're gonna go look at the Woodwardia by Lydia Gluck. And this was in Pom Pom Quarterly, spring 2019. And it's just an oversized boxy raglan with some detail right along the raglans and a turtleneck. It looks like that detail on the raglan also continues on the underside of the sleeve. So right where the raglan meets at the underarm, it keeps going up. It's so cute. It looks very comfortable to wear. And I love this, like, this blue-green heathered colorway that they used in one of the samples. It is a worsted weight sweater. They used Durarum Natura Gilead, which I believe is a 100% merino non-superwash. And bust sizes is 36.5 inches to 79.5 inches, and they're recommending 12 inches of positive ease. So it's really oversized and comfy looking. Yeah, it just looks great to me. It looks so comfortable. Just that little bit of extra detail along the raglan just adds a little bit of interest to something that is otherwise, I don't want to say basic or plain, because you can wear this in so many ways that is anything but this would be something really great to just let the yarn shine. They have a sample that's just, it's color blocked. They have a sample in a variegated color. They have a sample in a tonal. There's so many variations on this that I think would just look really beautiful, and picking a yarn would be so much fun because again, you just let the yarn shine. It would be fabulous for it. All right, next we have the other non-garment on this list. This is another shawl. This is the Humlebi shawl by Fiber Tales. And every time I see this again, I'm just like, oh, so cute. The details of adding in the little bees as I don't even know, like as a lace, like would that be the descriptor for it? Bees as lace? I think it's adorable. So this is a DK weight shawl. They use Volan Twine Fiber Studios BFL Masham DK. It is one size. There is not... A wingspan is 63 inches across and 23.5 inches long. And I have heard that you start it from the bottom up, so you cast on the bottom, so the most amount of stitches, and then you're decreasing up. So you get to do those bees like at the very beginning. And because it's, you know, Humlebi, it's a bee shawl, I would want to do this in yellow or cream. It'd be so cute. It's so adorable. It is such a great little like detail, and I'm really amazed at how she created it. And really, hats off to her. It's fantastic. It's such a unique little thing, and it's adorable. Absolutely adorable. 10 out of 10. All right, last on my list of dream knits is the Whispering Fields by Rachel Illsley. And this is an all-over colorwork sweater, and I feel like that's something that everyone always says that they want to do. I want to knit an all-over colorwork sweater. And a lot of the all-over colorwork sweaters just aren't really my vibe. Marie Wallen, I think, is the knitter that most people go to for all over color work. A, she's not size inclusive. B, as much as I think the patterns are really beautiful and very classic, I wouldn't wear it. It's not something that would fit into my wardrobe. It's so much color all at once, so it's not something that would suit me, and it doesn't make sense to me to knit something that I wouldn't wear, especially something that's going to require so much time and effort. So an all over colorwork sweater like this, where it's just 2 colors, and I think it's so cute. It looks like a flower and leaves radiating out from the sides. I think it's adorable. I would love it. So this is a fingering weight sweater. Fingering weight, all over colorwork. What am I thinking? She recommends a long avec Anna merino, and the finished bust size is 34.5 inches to 69 inches. And it has that US 3 and US 2 needle that I was so confused by with the Kuutar, the Sari Nordlund pattern. So I just think it looks very classic. And of course, I am drawn to the mustard and burnt orange that she has in the sample. It is what it is. Those are my colors, but I think they're beautiful and I love them. It would be so fun to pick out colors for this. Like, I could totally see this in a pale pink and a mossy green. Totally not a color I would ever reach for, but I think it would look really cute as like a spring pink and green kind of moment, and even like maybe a little lavender. Again, not something I would actually wear, but it would be really, really pretty in that. I'm actually not sure what colors I would pick for it though. I think like a green would be a good idea because it feels very floral, especially with the leaves, but I don't know. I think it would be so fun to figure that out. So those are my list of 10 dream knits right now. Please leave a comment down below if you have ever knit any of these, or please tell me what your dream knit is. I'm always looking for something to add to the list. And yeah, like this video if you'd like to have more lists like this. If you're ever searching for more patterns, I would love to do more videos like this. It was very fun to search these out and to to compile them, really, because I've already found them. But yeah. And I'll see you guys for the next regular episode at some point. Bye, friends.